It is Wednesday, October 19th in the afternoon. I put out a little recording this morning before work. I was up early, but I wanted to put another one out while I'm in the car driving back home. On a few different topics. One being, one thing I did is if you're familiar with Google Alerts, you could put a search term in there, and anytime there's an article, whatnot, that comes across Google search engine that day, you'll get an alert, or you'll get, an update at a given time that you choose. And so I put in two terms, probably a week or so ago, and one of the terms is Adolf Hitler, and the other one is Holocaust. And the amount of stuff that is on the Google search engine, as you can imagine, on a daily basis from all over the world, it is more than, I don't want to say it's more than I imagined, but it's more than I imagined. From all over the place, on all different, ways that they can attack Hitler and carry out the Holocaust narrative. Last night I get my updates at about 11 o'clock at night. And it was really comical, because there were all the articles about Tulsi Gabbard. She was calling Joe Biden, he's Hitler. There was another one from, a bunch of media talking heads all over the world. Vladimir Putin, he's Hitler. You had other articles that were calling Donald Trump, he's Hitler. Everybody's Hitler. Everybody's Hitler. It's really comical when you understand it, or when you start to begin to understand it, that these people, all these, and I say Democrats and Republicans very loosely, but when they start calling each other back and forth Nazis and Hitler, at some point in time, you would think, for these Christian conservative types, that it's got to kick in. Like, something's got to, you've got to have some common sense kick in and say, whoa, what's going on here? Because it's absolutely hilarious that everybody's just, if you don't agree with something, you're Hitler, you're a Nazi, whatever. And if you don't do that, I would, at least, if you understand it, it's really good. It's really good comedy. That's what it's become for me, because these people know, I saw a video of Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I think the video was from like 2021 or whatever. But I saw it the other day, and she's up there, and she's talking about how, the Democrats, they're calling us Republicans. You know what they're calling us? They're calling us Nazis. You know what they're calling Donald Trump? Adolf Hitler. He's the most evil person, one of the most evil people to walk the face of this earth. And this lady, I can't stand her to begin with. I despise her. I think she's a terrible person. For many reasons. I think she's a terrible person. But these people, they're just, they know. But yet they want to, play all these damn games and attack each other, and it's really funny. And it's one of the reasons why I don't follow the news hardly at all anymore, because they're still talking about the same things they were talking about 2 years ago or a year ago, and they keep you boxed in. But a couple other articles that I found particularly funny. One is from a middle school teacher, he was an 8th grade teacher, whatever, from the state of California, and the teacher made the comment that, if I remember correctly, they might have been on the subject of World War II or whatnot, or the Holocaust, like every school system is, and they spend half a year on it, just beating it home. But the teacher made the comment to the student made a comment, and the teacher basically agreed with the student that Hitler was, an evil dictator, terrible person. But the teacher made the side comment, but he did have some very good leadership qualities. And now they're going after his job. It was all over some California papers. They want his job, and that guy's going to lose his job. I mean, hell, when I was in high school, 22 years ago, I remember my U.S. history teacher, carrying the narrative, but I remember him saying, but don't get it twisted, in other words, Hitler was a very good leader. And you can't argue that, you can't argue it. He was a very good leader. Now, I think everything that's put out on it, I think it's all bullshit. But, now you can't even make that little side comment, and you're all over the papers, and you're going to lose your job. Meanwhile, you've got teenage girls that are getting, sex trafficked, and it's being reported in the media as, the girl went missing, and that's about it. But, you say Hitler might have had some good leadership qualities. Well, you're going to lose your job, and probably more than that. You got universities all over the United States, in Florida, Arizona, Texas, just everywhere. Florida Atlantic, they're building some, Holocaust museum type thing. Arizona, the University of Arizona is. All these Holocaust, memorials. It's unbelievable. But it goes back to the fact, and I do believe this. I was once told that when you tell the truth, you never have to remember anything you say. But when you lie, you've got to remember what you said, and you've got to remember, all the specifics about it. And that's what's been happening over these decades, is these lies are just piling up. And now they've reached the point where you read an article from the Jerusalem Times or whatever, and these writers, hell, they can't wordsmith it. They can't decorate it well, because the way they decorate and stuff, it's just it's make believe. It's so obvious it's make believe. They can't even do a good job of that anymore. I saw there was this one article that, about these pictures that were discovered for the first time of these unknown people. And the way the title was headlined is that these pictures were of these people that, they discovered them, and these pictures were taken the night before they were taken to Auschwitz. To me, the way the title was laid out, that's the way I interpret it. That's what I thought it was going to be. But then you read the article, and you read the subtitles, and you read the, the captions of the pictures, and it's like these are pictures from people in like in the 1910s and the 1920s, and among many other things. And I'm going to post that article. I'm going to link it to this podcast, because you've got to go look at it. The very first picture is, I'm not going to say, but oh my God. It is. It's you'll get a kick out of it. That's for sure. So, but yeah, the articles that they're writing, it's just all, when you know, or when you start to know, it's all it's all lies, or it is truthful. They'll make the comment like, in this person, the Nazis killed him. They don't say they were gassed. They just say they were killed. Well, yeah, they probably did kill him. At some point in they probably did kill him. But they want you to believe that everybody was gassed in Auschwitz, and 6 million people died. It's just, So they're either just blatantly honest about it, but people are so, bought in and believe it to be true as factual that they don't even see beyond what's in front of them, the way it's written or the way the sentence is structured. It's good. It's good stuff, man. It's just I get a kick out of it now. And that goes in, to the fact that in reading all these articles, I've kind of always had, I don't know if you want to call it, it's just kind of my own formed opinion, and it's something that I can't prove to be true, but you talk about Stalin and how, when he was purging his own military and he was killing, the Jews, he was killing Soviet Jews like Yagoda and whatnot. Stalin had a quote where he said, and I don't know if this is exactly how it was worded, but he said, "Our party goes no further left than me." And you see the way these Jews throughout history, from centuries ago, every century, every decade, in countries all over the place, regardless of the leadership, they're just leeches. They're just a nuisance. They're just batshit crazy. They don't know how to function. And I think Stalin understood that, and I think, whether it was the main reason or not, but I think Stalin knew that he had to kill him. Because his job was to continue advancing the Communist Party. And he needed to make sure that it would continue when his time was over. And so I do believe, and I can't find any literature or any text that that says that or that leans that way, but I truly do. I think there was an element that in order for him to keep the party going, because he did say, this party goes no further left than me, he understood that. Because if it did, this whole thing would have ended a long time ago. They might not have won World War II. And Stalin, I'll tell you what, he manipulated that entire war. Strategically, he manipulated that entire war, and that's something for another topic. But I truly believe that he understood that he had to get rid of some of the Jews, and because they wouldn't have survived, because they're crazy. They can't function, and they've just got to create lie after lie after lie after lie to the point where we're at now, and it's just. I do think more people are waking up. I know for a fact there have been some, eyes open a little bit with Kanye West's comment from the show that he was on, saying what he said. Because I've got a close friend who is, he's your MAGA, blood red conservative, and he's all about the Matt Walshes, the Tucker Carlsons, and he's all about them, and that's it. And I can't get him I've never been able to get him to touch the Jewish question because I'm wrong. There's no need to discuss it. He knows more than I do. Won't even consider it. Donald Trump, MAGA all the way. To the point where we've had some knockdown, drag out. We've had some pretty heated arguments over it. But Kanye West, what he said, it got his attention. But at the same time, I think what we need to understand about what Kanye West said is we need a white person with that popularity to come out and say the same thing. Kanye West is black. He's protected. He can say that. He's going to be fine. So I think that's something that we need to be aware of. Yes, was it good that he said it? I think so. Because it did open some eyes, and it might get some people going down the rabbit holes that I know I've gone down and have been willing to go down, regardless of what I believed in the past. So I think that I was just exchanged a few messages with someone on Substack, and he mentioned it, a splash and that ripple effect. And I think that is a great way of framing it. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, because I do think it's getting out more, and I do think it's spreading, and I do think as a whole people are, starting to wake up to, the Nazi side of the story, like that Ohio Republican said back in the summertime when they shut her up quickly, and she got no support from the Republicans. I do think that people are starting to, want to learn a little bit more. So that is a good thing. And then Hitler, and this is another thing with Adolf Hitler. And I can't, I think there's some information out there that, might back my, another wild form that I thought, but I think part of the reason now that whether this is true, he killed himself. He knew if he survived and he was kidding, he knew he knew it was going to happen. I mean, he was not going to live a life that he wanted to live. They would have just tortured the absolute. It would have been brutal for him. But they would have. They wanted him alive. They did want him alive. Stalin even said that. Stalin's quoted as saying that it was along lines of, "Damn it, we needed him alive," is what the quote was. We needed him alive, and I think one of the reasons Hitler killed himself was to basically, that was his middle finger saying, I'm really screwing you guys over by killing myself, because if they've got him alive, dead or alive, they can control the narrative and they can control what they're putting out there, to the media. But when he's alive, it can be framed as, yeah, we got this information. We got him to admit this. We got him to say this. We got him to, talk about the Holocaust. We got him to basically confess. But when he's dead, they can't do that. So they've got to start forming lives and creating, scenes of dead bodies that, aren't Jews. And they've got to make sure all the cameras are there to put it in the papers. So I do think that might have been, one of his way of saying, F you guys, have fun, have fun, starting these lies and then having to, not letting the truth get out. Because as soon as word got out that he killed himself, you can go to the FBI documents, the archives, and they started creating that narrative that he faked his death quickly, and that he might have been spotted in this country, a week later, or they started that pretty quickly. Because they know and that's another thing. They wanted him alive, and he knew that they wanted him alive now. Whether that was one of the things he was thinking, that he was going to screw them over, and that was his way of, helping us out, I guess you could say. Who knows? But that's just kind of a thought that I've had. I started to form myself over the past couple months. So, because you just look at everything that's been created, all the movies that are based on, they're not true stories, but they're based on true stories. Hell, the Jews that were in the work camps, they didn't realize, they didn't, all of a sudden in the 50s and the 60s when the media in Hollywood started creating movies and books or not, and like, what, concentration camps, they were still under the impression that they were in work camps. And then all of a sudden, they're called concentration. We can make money off it. We can go speak and we can get, big bucks to say what they want us to say. Well, hell yeah. So. But hey, who knows? But I do think there's some teeth to that, and that's one thing that I really try to find more stuff on to back that up. So we'll see. But I wanted to hit on it. There's a couple more things that I wanted to hit on. I might do that later, and add it to this quick little episode. And I got one from this morning that I put up there. I said this at the beginning, but I haven't put it on. I've got it on Substack, but I still got to get it on YouTube and Odyssey and whatnot. So hopefully, if you hear this and you want to chime in and throw your 2 cents in, feel free to do so.